This video is sponsored by Manscaped. Man, so this stuff is really strange, isn't it? We just made a video a few days ago talking about how the Columbus Blue Jackets were apparently super involved in the Jack Eichel trade discussions with the Buffalo Sabres. It was them and the Anaheim Ducks, according to Elliotte Friedman, who made himself an appearance on the Instigator show. We also had Darren Dreger coming out with a few things. Pierre LeBrun's been leaking a few things here and there. We had this idea that the Columbus Blue Jackets were actively doing it, and they were actually trying to get a conversation started about Jack Eichel, but it turns out all those rumors might have to be tossed out the window, at the very least in the short term, because unlike the Friedmans and the LeBruns and the Dragers, who are all national guys, they're faces of these sports television broadcasting programs that broadcast all around the country, we have ourselves a local beat reporter, Aaron Portzline. He's a Columbus guy, he's a Blue Jackets writer, and he writes for The Athletic. He posted this article the other day. The Blue Jackets would covet a healthy, happy Jack Eichel, but a deal with the Sabres would be risky. I'll leave a link in the description to this article. Go ahead and read that if you have The Athletic. But because it's paid for material, we're not going to read that here on screen. However, there have been many people who have been taking a look at what's been written here and just making social media posts about it and highlighting, okay, this is essentially what Portzline is saying is going on with the Blue Jackets. And my goodness, it kind of goes against everything that we have seen with all the Friedman news and all that, because apparently, according to Portzline, it appears that the Blue Jackets are also in the same boat as the Kings, the Rangers, and the Bruins. They might just be out. Yeah, so we had that video a few days ago. They're in. Now it's, they're out. Why exactly is that? Let's go over some of the updates here and talk about the Blue Jackets and the entire Eichel thing. The tweet that Portzline sent out for the promotion of this article says that it is unlikely at this juncture that the Blue Jackets get a deal done for Eichel. Here's a summary of what it says on the Columbus Blue Jackets coverage Twitter account. Portzline says that as of today, the Blue Jackets are not in hot pursuit of Jack Eichel. Columbus and Buffalo have had conversations about Eichel, but it was just due diligence on Jarmo Kekalainen's part. We should never say never with regard to the Blue Jackets and Eichel, but repeatedly this week, we've been told that Columbus's involvement in trade talks are overblown. So here we go, guys. Media calling out media. Portzline's piece saying, you know what, the trade talks that Friedman had, all right, Columbus, they're involved, Anaheim, they're involved, they're overblown at this point. And I get that I could be seen as, you're just starting drama here, Lego, but that's not really what it is. It's just me giving the update, because the previous update, apparently it's not right anymore. And that's kind of valuable to me because I'm always interested in seeing what's going on with these Eichel talks and the developments and all that stuff. We also had ourselves what Portzline writes in this piece as a potential mock trade. He says something similar to the idea of if the Blue Jackets were to acquire Eichel, it would require X. And we're going to be going over X in just a little bit here, but a word from our sponsor firstly. We have some big breaking news. This important PSA is brought to you by the folks over at Manscaped, because the best new trimmer is now on the market, the Lawnmower 4.0, which is available for purchase in the USA and Canada. The new trimmer was just released only moments ago, and we are one of the first to get our hands on it and share the news. What makes this trimmer different than all the others? A new multi-function on and off switch that has a travel lock for one, a 4000K LED spotlight, and full customization with additional guard length sizes 1 through 4. It's waterproof and it's got wireless charging. Hey, Father's Day is coming up. Maybe the Weed Whacker will fit your needs instead. The best nose and ear hair trimmer on the market. Maybe some cologne too, who knows? Get 20% off and free shipping with code LEGOROCKS99 at manscaped.com. Again, 20% off and free shipping with the code LEGOROCKS99. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. The proposal that Aaron Portzline writes about in his piece that would probably be somewhere in the realm of possibility if Columbus said yes to an Eichel trade goes as follows. The 5th overall pick, Elvis Merzlikins, Alexandre Texier or Andrew Peeke, and Kirill Marchenko or Igor Chinakhov. And you know what? This kind of falls a little bit more in line with the idea that we had in that same Columbus is in video, where we spoke about the increased trade price for Jack Eichel via sources on Florida Hockey Now. And you know what? This kind of does fall in line with that. A draft pick in the top 10, a somewhat capable NHL player, or two in this case, and then a high-quality prospect. Now, the trade price we highlighted before was something along the lines of a top pick, a few prospects, maybe 2 or 3, and then you have a top 6 winger and a top 4 defenseman. And that in itself is absolutely bananas, and part of that is because, man, you just don't have too many teams that could realistically afford that and even consider going after Jack Eichel and making a trade. But because I said personally that the goalie aspect of it, Korpisalo, Merzlikins, you've got 2 good guys, they're both in very similar situations contract-wise, you have yourselves the opportunity to shed one of them off, send them over to Buffalo, and be on your way. Now that Portzline is writing in his piece that, according to NHL scouts and executives, this is likely what would happen if Eichel went to Columbus, you know, it does make a lot more sense to me, especially when you balance it out with the Alexandre Texier or Andrew Peeke. Texier, by the way, I've legitimately been a very big fan of Alexandre Texier. You can even see a video that we made on this channel a few years ago where I spoke about how this guy could become a really good force because he was so good in the Finnish Liga and so good in the AHL. He got 15 points in 49 games played this year, though. Not really great, but, you know, everyone in Columbus was kind of whack this year. Andrew Peeke is a little bit older. He's not really as defined and solidified in the NHL as Alexandre Texier is, so I would be more inclined to believe that if one or the other of these 2 assets were involved in an Eichel trade, the Sabres would probably just go out there and ask for Texier instead. As for Kirill Marchenko or Igor Chinakhov, this is the weird one to me, because these guys are kind of in that same grouping of Russian talented NHL caliber prospects. Marchenko, 2000 born, he's 6'2", he's a winger, and he scored 28 points in 41 games with SKA St. Petersburg. Not bad. He was at 3 points a game in the MHL, though, the junior league, SKA 1946 St. Petersburg, so he's absolutely dominant against his own age range in Russia. And then you have Igor Chinakhov. He's also 20, actually born in 2001 here, but he was lights out in a different kind of way. He scored a boatload of goals. He's a really good point producer, and in the MHL, he was absolutely deadly in that aspect. So the fact that you have both of these guys here, in fact, Chinakhov is going over to Columbus already, it does kind of make me a little bit more antsy towards the idea that the Blue Jackets would be okay with this. And especially combined with the fact that you have the Anaheim team that apparently is involved in these trade talks as well. How easy would it be for Anaheim to just be like, okay, here, one of Zegras, one of Drysdale, and our 3rd overall pick and a whole bunch of other stuff. Try to compete with that, Columbus. The 5th overall pick is nice, but Anaheim just has a much more, I'd say, juicier package at their hands here compared to Columbus. And so when you take a look at it like this is the standpoint you have. This is a poll on Twitter that I actually voted on myself here. If it's the 5th overall pick, Merzlikins, Texier or Peeke, and Marchenko or Chinakhov for Jack Eichel, would you make this trade? 80% of Blue Jackets fans say no, they would not want to do it. It's an overpayment from their end, and it might not even be worth it to actually come out on top in the Eichel sweepstakes compared to the Anaheim Ducks on the other side. And that's only one team that's going out there mentioned in this little conversation here. We know that apparently the Blackhawks are involved too, not to mention all the other teams that Pierre LeBrun labeled could be candidates, but who aren't actually confirmed to being in or out. We just kind of had LA, apparently they're not in anymore. Apparently the Bruins, they don't really want to deal with that entire surgery thing, and the New York Rangers apparently are kind of in a similar boat as well. But now you have a little bit of a deeper scoop. Columbus apparently is not in, leaving a few of the teams that are still remaining to be in, highlighted as Anaheim, maybe a few other guys in there. But it feels like the market for Eichel is shrinking by the day, especially with all the new rumors coming about with regards to the trade price, what it would take to pry this guy away, whether or not other teams would be able to match it. And for some teams like Columbus, I mean, Marchenko, Chinakhov, these guys are supposed to be pretty serviceable NHL caliber prospects. I know a lot of people still believe in Texier. I'm one of them, and Peeke as well. The 5th overall pick looks like it could be good, and then you have that goalie, Merzlikins, as well. There indeed is a lot of value going back the other way. In fact, Portzline's piece suggests that maybe even Patrick Laine could be involved, and that's not even something I wanted to include in the title or thumbnail. So when it comes down to it, there's so much going on here for Jack Eichel, and I don't know if the Blue Jackets would really be a part of it anymore, but that's the scoop that we have. At the very least, Portzline does say never say never. It's still possible. It's just at the moment it appears it's not going through. So we'll see for the updates, man. LA's kind of in a similar boat. Darren Dreger believes that LA will circle back over to Jack Eichel, so who knows if the Blue Jackets do a similar kind of move. But talk to me in the comments what you think about these ideas over here. Columbus, Jack Eichel, they don't really want to do it anymore. Who knows why? Talk to me in the comments what you think. If you enjoyed this video. Also about the trade proposal, Marchenko, Peak, Chinikov, 5th overall, Merzlikins, all that stuff. And bye.